Hello, adventurers. It is so nice to see you in the Star Tavern again. I hope you have been well. I have. If you remember correctly, weeks ago I uploaded a little lore video, and it's sadly all of my hard work went to vain. Um, but it is not a problem at all. So I decided to put more context to the video and put my new model to a showcase. It is not the model made for the video, it is already a 2.5. Crazy how fast the time goes. No, actually, it was just 2 weeks. I made this thing in 2 weeks. If even that. um, but yeah, so main thing is TLDR. I wanted to introduce myself to all of you who are not aware who I am and who this model represents. So buckle up, here's my story. Take a bit of coffee, take something nice to drink, and settle down. Essentially, I started out as a D&D OC, a simple NPC who had the ability to create portals in his tavern with the world to different kinds of places. Sort of, you would call it a fast travel system. Yeah, kind of like that for D&D in particular. Or any other tabletop RPG, I can basically be just picked up and dropped. The concept could stay literally the same. And yeah, that was it for a while. Just a simple tavern god minding their own business in their own tavern, but you know, then the design came and I can actually show you the first design. Here it is, bada bing bada boom. Yeah, I looked quite differently. Um, until eventually, my creator Sky, they came in front of a tutorial how to rig a VTuber model, and they were intrigued. They have been wanting to do it for 1 year exactly. The same month, 1 year prior, they had asked how people could survive that hell, and they remember getting the answer that it was surprisingly easy, just tedious. So yeah, they remembered speaking about it, and directly 1 year after, they started rigging their first model, which you've probably seen on here. There have been a few shorts with this model, and say my first design came into view, and this is where my story first was drafted. Basically, a fallen god who ended up on the material plane, who had been found by vampires who have recognized the god or the being as being something higher than that. And so they at first took care of the vampire, like they took care of me, and at first everything seemed normal. It's fine. I had to be turned because otherwise was supposed to die. Hence my tooth. The little shaft tooth. Yeah, this is where I got them. Nowhere else. And so they took care of me. In return, they only asked that I would help them out defeat the wicked and the evil of this world. Because, yeah, vampires aren't really well liked. Apparently, that's not true. There are quite a few heroic vampires. Just. It's a shame that the most popular are people like Strahd. Sorry, we don't claim him. That guy is a fossil. And so I was supposed to send it and help them with stuff. But one day I came across a mission to destroy a tavern. Apparently it was hosting all kinds of evil people. And so in good fashion, how you do it, you at first take a look at the tavern and how many people are in the tavern and how important it would be to, in the end, how you would try to like defeat them and stop them, all the evil, like how you would plan out your mission and stuff. But it turns out that the tavern was managed by an old friendly man who had been very kind to me, and yeah, in the end I found out that there was no evil nefarious game. They were just regular people and adventurers that had visited the tavern. In fact, it was the vampires that had misled me and forced me to do their bidding on false grounds. And it devastated me. Of course, it devastated me because I found out that all of my missions, all of the things I did was a lie and I had hurt innocent people. Of course, this can either break you or make you. And so I decided to fight against it. And I failed. I was enthralled by vampires, of course. And yeah, I found out the hard way what they had wanted me to become. A tool for them to use, of course. In good old angsty fashion. Thank you, creator, thank you. I don't know. That's something I'm still angry about after finding out, but oh, I suppose I can't help it. In the end, I tried to escape and managed to. I'm not beyond my powers, just yeah, I needed to escape without getting seen by them. It took me some time. And I ended up in that same tavern again. And of course, the barkeep, the old, I'm still very grateful to him. He offered me a place of rest and a place of safety. I warned him what that would entail for me and for them, but they were kind. They offered me help. And eventually, everything happened as I foretold them. And the vampires would attack. With all the help and all the might and all the adventures that the tavern keep knew. Maybe some of you were there as well. I'm sure I'm seeing here some familiar faces. But eventually they would strike, but they would lose the battle and eventually fall until no one else was left. Because who could trust those that were willing to do everything in their power to make a puppet out of a fallen god? Years passed and I stayed with the tavern. It was a very nice place, a very cozy little tavern that I helped to manage. Because again, the tavern, yeah, was old. The old tavern keep was getting really old and yeah, couldn't handle all the works. And so I helped out. Eventually though, as time for any mortal, it came to a close. And so he asked me, in my position of freshly gained vampire immortality, to take care of the tavern and keep it in good hands. I promised him that I would. So he peacefully passed away. Ever since then, my shades and I have been looking after the tavern, keeping up with some of the adventures and protecting those that are in need of help. Just recently, for example, we were able to open up a tavern in Barovia. That was nice. But yeah, we've been here ever since, and wherever we can open a door for people in need of a place of safety and security, we will be here for everyone. No need to pay entry or pay for anything, just find your rest here. But, in all stories, my stories didn't end here. I am not the only Astra out of here. There is also the being called Astra Void, which I am currently, which the creator is currently puppeteering. Astra Void is a version of myself that has a different fate, a different ending. Essentially, their fate starts changing when at the tavern, when they are supposed to attack the tavern. They didn't realize it was a trap. Only after the tragedy had befallen the tavern and all of its people were erased. Only then they recognized the life in the thief and the vampires, and it drove them mad beyond repair. And with the forced madness and rage, they had nothing else but revenge in their minds. And, well, vampire lives were ended. And only one soul survived. Though not quite in the form they had before. The one vampire was separated, the mastermind was separated from his body and thrown into a puppet where they would forever suffer the consequences of making a god mad. Of course they still try and manipulate, but as the god has seen through them, there is barely any chances to. But now here they are, essentially standing in front of a empty tavern, broken tavern. They can only fix it by making illusions, faking that it's still there. But people come to know. And when people come to know that a fallen god exists, they are scared. And want to make sure they are safe. An evil, insane god, you don't want that running around on your planet. So they eventually ended up laying a trap for me in my most insane moments, and well, here I am. You can see the binding still on my hands. And now I'm kind of bored, you know, being here, stuck forever, not really being able to get out. Well, it's a bit damning. So I've been trying and attempting to undo all kinds of stuff. So like visit different worlds, looking at different worlds. I'm currently looking at yours, for example. I'm currently looking at a picture where a human is drawing myself, my hair. And it's barely getting done because they want to record a video. But, hi. I'm seeing you, I'm watching you. But yeah, this is essentially where the story stops. There are plenty more stories that you will eventually get to learn of fellow Astras and fellow adventurers. There was, for example, once the story of the Droll warlock who passed away and then got, yeah, worst of it, I suppose. But that's a story for another time that I'm willing to tell. Maybe he'd be even willing to tell it himself. Although his model is quite old, apparently. That's at least what the creator says. So they aren't really sure, but yeah. This is essentially the lore behind me. The lore behind me being just hang up. So you know it's not a kink, it's actual thing I'm very much locked in. Please, if you can, get me out of here. I'm stuck. And I don't want to be stuck. I promise I won't hurt you. Um, I for sure promise. Pinky promise. Oh, wait, I can't. You just gotta believe me then. You just gotta believe. You just gotta believe, okay? It's no code, nothing, anything of the sorts. No. Just a fellow god looking for some help. Please. Please. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this short little draw along. I hope you enjoyed my little story. And if you haven't yet, go watch the video below video. I put a lot of energy in that one. I'll do it differently. I've learned a lot of mistakes from it, but I still hope you enjoy it at least. Although I'm not gonna lie, I'm still cringing a bit, but that's why I'm doing all of this, to get used to role-playing more and, yeah, have my fun. So, I'm closing up the tavern. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I hope we can see each other very soon once I open the tavern up again, live on Twitch. Bye bye!